I experiment with different forms of expression, like riding a horse. People have to express themselves one way or another.
What is it you want to express?
Me? Don't worry, I don't expect you to understand.
Who are you going out with tomorrow night?
George Mitchellson here.
Oh, you getting a little sweet on him?
You ask me. This child ain't sweet on nobody but herself. Express herself.
Oh, I like George alright, Mama. I mean, I like him enough to go out with him and stuff, but
What does and stuff mean?
mind your own business.
Stop picking on her now, Ruth. What does it mean?
Oh, I just mean I could never really be serious about George. He's so shallow.
Shallow? What do you mean he's shallow? He's rich.
Hush, Ruth.
I know he's rich. He knows he's rich too.
Well, what other qualities that man gotta have to satisfy you, little girl?
You wouldn't even begin to understand. Anybody who married Walter could not possibly understand.
What kind of way is that to talk about your brother?
Brother's a flip, let's face it.
What's a flip?
She's saying he's crazy.
Not crazy. Brother isn't really crazy yet. He's an elaborate neurotic.
Hush your mouth.
As for George, well, George looks good. He's got a beautiful car and he takes me to nice places. And as my sister-in-law says, he's probably the richest boy I will ever get to know. And I even like him sometimes. But if the youngers are sitting around waiting to see if the little Benny is going to tie up the family with the Murchisons, they are wasting their time.
You mean you wouldn't marry George Burtonson if he asked you someday? That pretty rich thing? Honey, I knew you was odd.
No, I wouldn't marry him. If all I felt for him was what I feel now. Besides, George's family wouldn't really like it.
Why not?
Oh, Mama. The Murchisons are honest to God, real live, rich colored people. And the only people in the world who are more snobbish than rich white people are rich colored people. I thought everybody knew that. I've met Mrs. Murchison. She's a C.
You must not dislike people because they well off, honey.
Why not? It makes just as much sense to as disliking people because they're poor. And lots of people do that.
Well, she'll get over some of this.
Get over it. What are you talking about, Ruth? Listen, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm not worried about who I'm going to marry yet, if I ever get married.
If. Now, Betty.
Oh, I probably will, but first I'm going to be a doctor, and George, for one, still thinks that's pretty funny. I couldn't be bothered with that. I'm going to be a doctor, and everybody around here better understand that.
Of course you're going to be a doctor, honey. God willing.
God hasn't got a thing to do with it.
Beneath that wasn't necessary.
Well, neither is God. I get sick of hearing of God.
Beneatha.
I mean it. I'm just tired of hearing about God all the time. What has he got to do with anything? Does he pay tuition?
You got to get your fresh little jaw slapped.
That's just what she needs, all right?
Why?
Why can't I say what I want around here like everybody else?
It doesn't sound nice for a young girl to say things like that. You wasn't brought up that way. Me and your father went to trouble to get you and your brother to church every Sunday.
Mama, you don't understand. It's all a matter of ideas, and God is just one idea I don't accept. It's not important. I'm not going around and I'm not going out and being immoral or committing crimes because I don't believe in God. I don't even think about it. It's just that I get tired of him getting credit for all the things the human race achieves through its own stubborn effort. There simply is no blessed God. There's only man, and it is he who makes miracles.
Now, you say after me, in my mother's house, there is still God. In my mother's house, there is still God.
In my mother's house, there's still God.
There are some ideas we ain't going to have in this house. Not as long as I'm head of this family.
Yes, man.
You think you're a woman, Benny? You're still a little girl. What you did was childish, and you got treated like a child.
I see. I also see that everybody thinks it's alright for Mama to just be a tyrant. But all the tyranny in the world will never put a God in the heavens.
She says she was sorry.
It frightens me, Ruth. My children.
You got good children, Nina. They're just a little off sometimes, but they are good.
No, there's something come down between me and them that don't let us understand each other and not know what it is. One done almost lost his mind thinking about money all the time, and the other done commenced to talk about things I don't seem to understand in no form or fashion. What is it that's changing, Ruth?
Now, you taking it all too seriously. You got some strong-willed children, and it takes a strong woman like you to keep them in hand.
They spirited all right, my children. Gotta admit they got spirit, Benny and Walter. Like this little plant that never got any water, or sunshine, or nothing. You look at it.
You sure loves that little thing, don't you?
Well, I always wanted me a garden, like I used to see sometimes in the back of houses down home. This planet's close I ever got to having one. Lord, ain't nothing as dreary as the view from this window on a dreary day, is there? Why aren't you singing this morning, Ruth? Sing that No Waste Tire song. That always lifts my spirit. So, Ruth, honey, what's the matter with you?
Ruth!